Is in custody this morning after 3 teenagers and a 21-year-old woman were shot in Chicago's South Deering neighborhood. The victims were outside this corner store on 106th and Bensley when shots were fired. Chicago police canvassed the area, talking to witnesses and looking for surveillance video. 3 victims are in stable condition. The 4th, a 16-year-old, was shot several times. We're told he is in critical.
Also breaking this morning, a man dies after he was shot and then got into a car crash. It happened in South Deering near 106th and Hoxie around 1 this morning. Chicago police and fire crews found the victim unresponsive in his car after he hit 2 parked vehicles.
A 14-year-old boy. The teen was standing at 106th and Yates. This was last night around 8:30. Police say a vehicle pulled up and someone inside fired at.
Breaking news, a 14-year-old girl has been shot in the South Deering neighborhood.
Around 3 o'clock this morning, police say the teenager was walking home right near 96th and Exchange, that's out in South Deering. Well, at that point, he saw someone get out of a dark-colored car out in the distance, and that person just started shooting. The teenager was hit in the hip and in the leg. So far, no arrests have been
gang history is full of well-known names, but one group that often gets overlooked is the Spanish vice lords. Deeply tied to the city's roughest neighborhoods, the Spanish vice lords have been putting in work for decades, long before most people even knew their name. From their hidden West Side origins to their takeover of South Deering and the East Side, they built their reputation the hard way, fighting against the odds, surviving bloody wars, and carving out their own piece of Chicago's underworld. This is the story of a gang that never needed headlines to prove how real they were. There's a lot of legend around when and where the Spanish vice lords actually started. Many say they came up in the early 1980s in South Deering. But the Spanish vice lords trace back much further, at least to the early 1970s and possibly the late 1960s. The Spanish vice lords were fully sanctioned by the 5-star elites of the vice lord nation, meaning they were official from the beginning. By the late 1970s, the vice lord nation began expanding into the South Side, including South Deering. Around 1980, original Spanish vice lords members helped set up a new branch at 104th and Hoxie, near the housing projects. At first, many local youths were hesitant to join because the Disciples and King Cobras dominated the area. But the Spanish vice lords quickly earned respect, fighting back fiercely even when outnumbered. By the mid-1980s, the Spanish vice lords grew stronger and larger. By June 1989, they had more than 50 members and serious street presence. Around this time, a group of kids from Wolf Park, known as the Wanderers, wandered in. They had struggled to defend themselves against the Latin kings and saw the Spanish vice lords as the stronger, respected force. In 1991, the vice lord 5-star elite officially sanctioned a Wolf Park branch of the Spanish vice lords, stretching from 108th and Buffalo to 108th and Green Bay. At first, the Latin kings backed off out of respect for the People-Nation alliance. But by 1994, warfare broke out between the Spanish vice lords, Latin kings, and even Latin dragons. The Spanish vice lords from Wolf Park earned a hard reputation for fighting and expanded their control from Buffalo to Avenue O and from 106th to 110th Street. Today, while much of the original history of the Spanish vice lords is misunderstood or forgotten, the facts show a gang that goes much deeper than the early 80s in South Deering, a group with roots in the roughest streets of the West Side and a long history of fighting to survive and dominate.
We right here. What's up? We right here. What up? We right here. What's up? What on fucking what? L? We out here. What's up? Spanish vice lord. What's up?
The Spanish vice lords from 104th and Hoxie trace their roots back to around 1981, when the set was founded near the housing projects in South Deering. They've been holding down their turf ever since. 108th and Mackinaw is the stronghold of the Spanish vice lords BuckerWorld, 108, set in Chicago's South Deering neighborhood. The crew started in the 1990s as the Wolf Park Wanderers, before older members from 104th brought them into the Spanish Vice Lords. Known for beefing with all nearby gangs, BuggerWorld 108 has also produced local rapper B.W. Harris, who reps the set in his music. The Spanish Vice Lords' legacy is one built on loyalty, survival, and relentless pressure against their rivals. While legends often trace their roots to South Deering in the 80s, the truth runs much deeper, back to the west side streets of Chicago in the 1960s and 70s. Whether at BuckkCity on 104th or BuggerWorld 108th near Mackinaw, the Spanish Vice Lords kept growing, fighting, and claiming their space. Their name still carries weight on the streets today, a reminder that real history isn't made overnight. It's earned, block by block, year after year.